Brie and I started the show during the pandemic, and for all but a handful of episodes, we've not been in the same room. And it's like those are the exact same considerations. Am I decorating my house or am I decorating my set right now?
But it's kind of beautiful though, right? Because you get to double the bang for your buck. My mother has always had this fantasy that I was going to get married at her house. And I think that part of it, her reasoning is like, oh, we need to redo the garden anyway. Like instead of spending all this money for some venue to rent for 5 hours, we could redo the bathrooms and, buy the patio furniture we've always wanted and hang the fairy lights outside and get the baseboards painted. And
you want an excuse.
And those are benefits that are going to accrue to the household instead of some random vendor.
And it's tax deductible after this friggin' family bill gets passed.
It also erases the distinction between like public and private style, so that you sort of have this like synthesis of like there is no distinction between your stage, like any kind of exterior performance, and like how you live. You live on set, you film in your house. It's like I don't know. People like authenticity. The ultimate authenticity, I guess, is to remove the separation between your life and your art.
Well, I will turn this off, and then I will continue to speak and drink what I'm drinking in the same location. And it just feels like, oh, well, I'm just still working right now. This is out. Yeah. This is not leisure time.
Yeah.
I feel that way sometimes, but so I live in a studio, so there's only so much compartmentalization there is that can be done. But this side of my dining room table, which has been turned into my studio space, feels like business time. Everything over there feels like lifetime. And I've used rugs and furniture to try to zone off as best as possible. And I have created new zones in my apartment since quarantine by buying like little work desks and stuff. And that has really helped me not feel like I'm a zoo animal stuck in one space. I'm a very strong proponent of like lighting fixtures and stuff to make you feel different in different parts of a room.
Yeah, a lot of people find that it helps with sanity to have like these kinds of like zoned off areas so that you don't feel like you're like, but a classic YouTube style is to film in your bedroom, right?
Yeah.
Because of the intimacy of that. So I've gone to a lot of YouTuber apartments where you walk into the bedroom and it's like lights, cameras, and to the point where people worried like, oh, if the landlord comes by, this is indistinguishable from like a sex work setup, right? Because you've got a bed surrounded by video equipment.
If you go home to someone's place and there's ring lights and cameras and all kinds of bullshit, then do not sleep with them. Just leave immediately.
Oh yeah, that's probably sound advice.
But the point that you just made, Natalie, I find that very interesting because, something that I admire about your work and that really intrigues me about your work is the deliberate nature of everything. Like everything, like there is thought that goes into every aspect of this and not just, the writing and the performance and the editing or even just the lighting and the camera setup, but like the actual staging of it. And that to me creates, the fact that you're, spending all of this, artistic energy into creating that artifice, that does create a kind of artificial distance. Whereas the classic podcast thing is you roll out of bed and just hop on a microphone and just shoot the shit and there's no preparation. And, with this show with Brie, that's something that I've thought about a lot is exactly what level of, we can call it preparation or we can call it, cultivating a vibe or a scene is, necessary to get what we want.
Yeah, you're right that the way I make videos, it in some ways it's like very against the entire ethos of the internet generation, right? And it is deliberately not the kind of authenticity that people associate with YouTube, right? Where YouTube has traditionally worked and like the parasocial relationship model where people basically feel like they almost feel like they're like FaceTiming you. You know what I mean? It's like I just picked up the camera. Hey guys, it's me. Like the casualness of it. Like my videos are the exact opposite of that. Like obviously, like this has been scripted up beforehand. Like I've created an entire like alternate aesthetic universe where these videos take place. And so it sort of pulls you out of reality. It has like the exact opposite effect of a casual conversation.
Well, you mentioned intimacy before, and it does feel like a double-edged sword. I was given advice at one point during the campaign to tweet more about random things in my life. My dog, what I had for breakfast.
This is from Bernie directly. I need you to talk about your dog.
No, it was from someone, a famous, a surrogate, a Bernie surrogate who is not part of the campaign, doesn't work for the campaign, but was a Bernie supporter who gets a lot of online heat. And they gave the advice that it's a lot harder for people to vilify you and attack you without pause if they see you as a fuller human being. And I think that advice lands. But of course, the flip side of that kind of cultivated intimacy is that people feel like you're accessible and they can exploit that kind of vulnerability. And I wonder, yes. And I wonder how, intentional your aesthetic choices are at establishing some kind of boundaries.
Oh, I don't think that I ever wanted to do aesthetic choices for the purpose of establishing boundaries. I also think that, well, like you've said, I think it kind of is a lose-lose situation, right? Because if you have a very professional front and very artificial, and you don't make any pretenses to know people, well, then you're the not Bernie Sanders person, whoever it was who told you this, like that you don't seem like a human being to people that can attack you the way you would attack a brand, right? But if you do get authentic, then people think that you're their friend, and you're in a position where you can betray them by doing something they don't agree with. You can, they feel entitled to make demands of you. They feel like it's a. So I think that I don't know. I mean, why do I make the videos the way I make it? I think I just like that. I just like. I mean, I don't know. I do it because I make videos that's how I want them to look. I don't know. I guess it's not. I mean, I think that it's to me. I'm trying to create a certain kind of experience. That's the kind of experience I guess I kind of want as a viewer. But I guess I think that often there's this kind of weird contradiction in my videos where I will talk about extremely personal things, but I will do so in a way that it feels like some kind, like it's abstracted through all this, like, lighting and set design and it's scripted. So,
there's something honest at the core of it, but it's, it goes through a series of filters and a kind of pretense.
Right.
But I think it's still, I think what's very impressive is like, it still comes off as authentic. It still feels authentic, and it still maintains that immediacy and that intimacy in a way that, if just like lying in your bed and just like, turning on a mic and like not putting any thought into the way that you present yourself might also create that kind of intimacy.
Yeah, well, and I think also like the sets and stuff I do are complicated, but it's still like, I don't know, to me, I think it's kind of important that it still has a kind of like homebrew vibe. Like it the budget's increased and it's higher production than most YouTube videos are, but like you can still tell that I did it, right? Like I think there's a difference between that and like I could hire a crew and go on location to some professional set or whatever, but like that to me, I don't know. Part of the charm to me of YouTube is like seeing how much one person can accomplish filming this thing in their apartment, Yeah. And so like I think that with my videos, like it never quite reaches the level of production, except maybe once in a video I made called Opulence, where I filmed in this like museum. It was actually an art school, and that kind of crossed a line, I think, but for specific reasons. But like the rest of that, like you can tell that like I just hung up some curtains and like made this set, and I think that sort of, well, to me there's a kind of like, it has my handprints on my handprints on it. You know, like you can see that this is like one person's passion project and not like the production of a studio.